Imagine this. You make a small mistake in a financial report, your manager notices it, and suddenly your brain says, "This is terrible. I'm in trouble." In today's Business English podcast, you will learn how to handle criticism at work in English without sounding defensive, passive, or angry. Here's the situation. I prepared a financial report for a monthly meeting. Most of the report was correct, but one number in a summary table was wrong. It was not a huge disaster, but it could confuse the team if nobody corrected it. Listen to the first short conversation after it. I will pause and explain the useful phrases, the tone, and the communication strategy step by step.
Richard, do you have a minute? I reviewed the financial report, and I noticed a mistake in the quarterly revenue summary.
Yes, of course. Thanks for flagging that. Which number are you referring to?
In the summary table, the total for March is too high. It looks like one line item was counted twice.
I see what you mean. Let me take a closer look before I respond fully. Was the mistake only in the summary table, or did it also affect the charts?
From what I can see, the charts are correct. The issue is in the summary table on page 3.
Understood. I will check the source file, correct the table, and send you an updated version today. That was a short conversation, but it included several important moves. This is a B1, B2 Business English lesson, so we will break the situation down into useful phrases, phrasal verbs, workplace vocabulary, and short US and UK usage notes. At the end, I will ask you 5 comprehension questions, so keep listening actively. The skill is not to pretend you feel nothing. The skill is to slow down, understand the point, and respond professionally. First, I did not say, "That is impossible." I did not say, "It was not my fault." I did not panic. I started with, "Thanks for flagging that." This phrase is useful because it shows maturity. It means, "Thank you for bringing this to my attention." Second, I asked for specifics. Which number are you referring to? When criticism is general, it can feel personal. When it becomes specific, it becomes easier to manage. This is close to a useful communication principle. Separate the fact from the story in your head. The fact is, one number may be wrong. The story in your head might be, "My manager thinks I am bad at my job." Those are not the same thing. In a professional conversation, stay with the facts first. A useful phrase is, "Can you walk me through the issue?" To walk someone through something means to explain it step by step. You can say, "Could you walk me through where you found the error?" Another useful phrase is, "Let me double check." To double check means to check again carefully. In British and American English, this is common and safe. For example, "Let me double check the source file and get back to you." Let's learn some vocabulary about criticism. In English, criticism at work is often called feedback, but not all feedback feels comfortable. Some feedback is constructive, which means it helps you improve. Some feedback feels harsh, which means it sounds too strong or too negative. And sometimes feedback is fair, but your first emotional reaction is still defensive. Constructive criticism means criticism that helps you improve. Example: the manager gave me constructive criticism on my report structure. Harsh feedback means feedback that feels too strong or too direct. Example: the message was useful, but the tone felt a bit harsh. Defensive means you react by protecting yourself instead of listening. Example: I do not want to sound defensive, but can I explain the context? Accountability means taking responsibility for your work. Example: I take accountability for the mistake and I will correct it. To own up to something is a phrasal verb. It means to admit that you made a mistake. Example: I need to own up to the error and fix it. In the UK, you may hear "fair enough" as a casual response. It means, "I accept that point." For example, "Fair enough. I should have checked the formula again." It can sound natural in British English, but use it carefully in a serious meeting. If your tone is wrong, it may sound too casual. In the US, you may hear "my bad." It means "that was my mistake." But be careful, "my bad" is informal. It is fine with close colleagues, but in a formal meeting say, "That was my mistake," or "I take responsibility for that."
I appreciate that you will correct it today. But I have to be honest, this kind of error can reduce trust in the report.
I understand. The report is used for decisions, so accuracy matters. I take responsibility for the mistake.
What happened?
It looks like I copied one line from the working sheet into the summary twice. I should have double-checked the final table before sending it.
Okay, how will you prevent this from happening again?
I will add a final checklist before submitting financial reports. First, I will compare the summary table with the source file. Second, I will check formulas. Third, I will ask one colleague to review the final version when the report includes financial totals.
That sounds reasonable. Please send me the corrected report and the checklist by the end of the day.
I will do that. Thanks for being clear about the impact. Notice the phrase, "Thanks for being clear about the impact." This is advanced but very useful. It shows that you are not only thinking about your feelings, you're thinking about the business result. When you make a mistake at work, a strong response has 3 parts. Part 1, acknowledge the issue. I see the error in the summary table. Part 2, acknowledge the impact. I understand this can reduce trust in the report. Part 3, give a repair plan. I will correct it today and add a checklist for future reports. This is much better than saying only, sorry. Sorry is important, but in business English, people also want to know what happens next. Useful phrase, here's how I will address it. To address a problem means to deal with it. Example, here's how I will address it. I will correct the file, update the team, and add a review step. Another useful phrasal verb is follow up. To follow up means to take action after a conversation. Example, I will follow up with the corrected version this afternoon. Sometimes the criticism is fair, but the tone is not ideal. Maybe someone sounds irritated. Maybe they say this should not happen. You still need to stay professional, but you do not have to accept unclear or unfair criticism without questions. This is where the phrasal verb push back is useful. To push back means to disagree politely or challenge something. Example, I understand the concern, but I would like to push back on one point. This is common in American business English and also understood in British English. Use it carefully. Do not push back against every comment. Push back when something is inaccurate, unclear, or unfair. Here are useful phrases. I understand the concern and I agree the error needs to be fixed. Can we separate the mistake from the wider performance discussion? Could you give me one specific example? I want to make sure I understand the expectation. I am open to feedback, but I would appreciate specific points I can act on. That last phrase is powerful. It is calm, assertive, and practical.
Richard, this report mistake is frustrating. I need you to be more careful in general.
I understand the concern, and I agree the error needs to be fixed. Could you give me 1 or 2 specific examples of what you would like me to change?
In this case, the main issue is the final review. The analysis was good, but the final table was not checked carefully enough.
That is helpful. So the main improvement area is final quality control, not the analysis itself. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Thanks. I can work with that. I will build a quality control step into my report process. This part is important. When the manager says, be more careful in general, that is understandable, but it is not very actionable. Actionable means something you can act on. So I asked for specific examples. Then I repeated the point back. The main improvement area is final quality control, not the analysis itself. This technique is sometimes called reflecting back. In simple English, you repeat the meaning to check that you understood. Useful phrase, so, if I understand correctly, example. So if I understand correctly, the main issue is the final review step. Another phrase, the takeaway for me is, a takeaway is the main lesson or conclusion. Example, the takeaway for me is that I need a stronger final checklist. In UK English, people may say noted in emails or chat. Example, noted. I will update the report today. It is short and professional, but it can sound cold if used alone. Add a next step. Noted, I will update the report today and send the revised version by 3. In US English, people often say got it in conversation. Example, got it. I will correct the table and follow up today. It is natural, but again, use it with a clear action. Now let's look at informal expressions. Use these with care. My bad is common in American English. It means that was my mistake. Example, my bad, I attached the old file. It is friendly and casual, but not ideal for a serious finance mistake. I dropped the ball means I failed to do something I was responsible for. Example, I dropped the ball on the final check. This is informal but common in business. It accepts responsibility, but it can sound too strong if the mistake was small. Nitpicky means too focused on small details. Example, I do not want to sound nitpicky, but the formatting needs to be consistent. Be careful. Do not call your manager nitpicky during criticism. You can use it to describe a review style, but politely. Call out can mean to mention a problem directly. In the US, people may say, "Thanks for calling that out." In British English, point out or flag may sound more neutral. So you can say, "Thanks for pointing that out," or "Thanks for flagging that." Sort out is very common in British English. It means to fix or organize a problem. Example, I will sort this out today. In American English, people understand it, but fix this or take care of this may sound more natural.
Richard, I have corrected the number in my copy, but we need to make sure the team has the right version.
Absolutely. I will send an updated version with a short note explaining the correction.
Good. Keep the note clear, but do not make it dramatic.
Agreed. I can write. Please use version 2 of the report. I corrected the March total in the summary table. The charts were not affected.
Perfect. That is clear and calm.
I will also follow up with finance to confirm the source file one more time.
Good idea. And Richard, the analysis itself was strong. We just need tighter checks before reports go out.
I appreciate that. The takeaway from me is to keep the analysis quality and improve the final review process. Now imagine you need to write an email after criticism. Here's a simple structure. Subject, updated financial report. Line 1, hi team, please use the updated version attached. Line 2, I corrected the March total in the summary table. Line 3, the charts and main conclusions were not affected. Line 4, thanks for your patience. This is short, professional, and calm. You do not need to write a long emotional apology if the mistake is small, but you should be clear, useful email phrases. Please use the updated version attached. I corrected the issue in the summary table. The main conclusions are unchanged. I have added an extra review step for future reports. Thanks again for flagging this. If the mistake affected a decision, you need a stronger message. You can say, I understand this may have affected the discussion, and I apologize for the confusion, but if the mistake was small and corrected quickly, keep the message calm and factual. Here's a simple 5-step framework you can use when you receive criticism at work. Step 1. Pause. Do not answer too fast. Take one breath. Step 2. Clarify. Ask, which part are you referring to? Or could you walk me through the issue? Step 3. Acknowledge. Say, I see the issue or I understand the concern. Step 4. Take responsibility for your part. Say, I should have double-checked that, or I take responsibility for the final review. Step 5. Propose the next action. Say, I will correct it today and follow up with the updated version. This framework is simple, but it works because it reduces drama. It moves the conversation from emotion to action.
Richard, do you have a minute to discuss the financial report?
Yes, of course.
I noticed an error in the March total on page 3. One line item was counted twice.
Thanks for flagging that. Could you walk me through the exact line item?
It is the consulting cost line. It appears in the operating expenses and again in the adjustment section.
I see it now. You're right. I should have caught that in the final review.
The rest of the report looks strong, but this kind of mistake can create confusion.
I understand. The report supports the monthly decision meeting, so accuracy is important. I take responsibility for the final table.
What will you do next?
I will correct the summary table, confirm the source file with finance, and send version 2 to the team today. I will also add a checklist for future financial reports.
Good. Please include a short note so people know what changed.
I will. The note will say that the March total was corrected and that the charts and conclusions were not affected.
That works. Thank you for handling it quickly.
Thank you for pointing it out clearly. I will follow up this afternoon. Before the 5 comprehension questions, let's review the most useful expressions from today's episode. Thanks for flagging that. This means thank you for bringing attention to the issue. Could you walk me through it? This means please explain it step by step. Let me double check. This means I will check again carefully. I see what you mean. This shows understanding. I take responsibility for that. This shows accountability. I should have caught that. This means I should have noticed the mistake. I will address it. This means I will deal with the problem. I will follow up. This means I will take action after this conversation. I would like to push back on one point. This means I want to disagree politely. The takeaway for me is, this introduces the lesson you learned. Remember, good business English is not only vocabulary, it is also tone. When criticism comes, your goal is not to win an argument. Your goal is to understand the issue, protect the relationship, fix the problem, and improve the process. Now here are your 5 comprehension questions. Write your answers in the comments. Question 1. What mistake did Richard make in the financial report? Question 2. What does thanks for flagging that mean? Question 3. Why is it useful to ask for specific examples when criticism feels too general? Question 4. What is the difference between saying sorry and giving a repair plan? Question 5. Which informal expression means, that was my mistake in American English? Thanks for listening to this Business English podcast. If this lesson helped you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who wants to improve business English for work. And remember, write your answers to the 5 questions in the comments. Using the language is the best way to remember it. See you in the next lesson.